Looking for stories that are fresh and new? Dark fantasy, humor, space exploration, time travel, cyberpunk, alternate history, and more. They're in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology. From 24 award-winning authors and illustrators, plus art and writing tips and bonus stories. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Buy your copy at galaxypress.com, Amazon, or wherever books are sold.
Hey, good evening, everybody. How are you on this fine Tuesday night? Welcome to my show, Into the Night with Shawn Kelly. Tara's not here tonight because she's still a little bit under the weather. And there must be something going around because, not me, but a lot of my friends have been really, really sick lately. And we just cannot figure out why. But so, again, welcome to the show. So you're with me from 8 to 10 tonight, and we're just going to talk about whatever. We definitely have a question and answer night tonight, and whatever comes up, we'll just talk about it. But before I go on, I want to talk about this disease that is. Hey, Holly, good to see you. Good to see you, buddy. I haven't seen you for a while. I'm glad you're here. But I talk about this disease every week. It's called CRPS and reflex syndrome dystrophy. Okay, and what that is that there's a lot of people out there, that are in constant pain 24 hours a day. My friend Tara has it, and then my friend Sue has it, and my friend down in Australia has it. And, it's just devastating because there's no cure for it. The best thing that they can do with it is basically just give them pain medication. That's the only way that, what's working now. They celebrate the month of November as their awareness month, and their color is orange. And so, like I said last week on the show, September also is Suicide Awareness Month too. Now, with that, okay, and a lot of people who have this CRPS just can't deal with the pain so much that they end up committing suicide, and it's sad. I mean, it is something that people struggle with. And it's like, okay, what can we do to help them? But the only thing I can actually do for my friends is actually pray for them. You know what I mean? And, try to give them some type of encouragement, But so if you're out there, tonight and, before you go to bed, if you want to say a little prayer for the people who have this CRPS, please do. Okay. It's devastating. It really, really is. Because, and what's crazy about this and the other diseases out there that happen, they happen to good people. You know what I mean? Very good people. Not so much the CRPS, but people are getting cancer. Some people, have multiple sclerosis. Other people have, and they're good people. And you sit back and you relax. You wonder, well, why are these people getting all these diseases? Are great people that they're loving and caring and give the shirt off their backs for you. It's something. I wonder if you could actually put that into the paranormal. I'm not sure. It's very possible. I just don't understand how it happens. And maybe there'll be a time where we will understand. But as right now, no, not at all. So all we can do is just give them a lot of love and affection, and actually go out there and speak about it. And I'm not doing my due diligence here on Into the Night. I'm talking about it. I'm advertising it so people can actually understand what's going on. That the CRPS is the real deal. It is a real bad thing. That's going on out there. I am. I had a pretty rough week. Okay. There is like so much tension in the air. Everywhere I walk, everywhere I go, there's always tension. People are not friendly anymore lately. People are not happy anymore. And it's just something that really, it gets on my nerves. Okay. For the longest time, I was the type of person that literally, went out of my way to help people. And I really cared for people. But you know what? I'm losing that. Okay. I'm starting to lose that because it seems like my eyes um, have opened up to the real world that's going on out there. And people should be more friendlier. But it's so hard in this day of age, right now at this time. All you see is negativity out there, all kinds of negativity, and of course people are saying, well, it's the devil, it's the government, it's the devil, all kinds of stuff like that, bad stuff. And there's something up with it. There's people who print stuff in the newspaper, say it on the TV, the radio, whatever. It's just not happiness. They just want to cause a lot of pain and hurt in front of everybody. And it's just not right. And so what happens is, especially if you being an empath like I am, okay, you feel what other people are feeling, okay, and it just seems like you try everything in the world to like totally block it out, but you can't, okay. The energy is just too strong to block out, and it's just like a lot of negativity out there, a lot of negative energy. And a dear friend of mine, Penny, she shared something with me a long time ago when I was starting to learn about the paranormal. Okay. When people get mad, say like you're an angry person all the time. Okay. And you're really, hey, Cindy, hey, welcome. Hello. Welcome to the show. If Polly or you have any questions, please ask, and then I'll try to answer them the best I can. And if there's something else on your mind, please feel free to put it in the chat, and then we can talk about it. This is an open forum tonight, okay? So we'll see where it goes. But a lot of people, she taught me that, whenever you're an angry person and you're releasing all kinds of energy from your body, what happens is that it turns into a dark negative energy field, okay? Like one big blob of negativity that follows you around. And what it does, it just feeds off you. And the more you're angrier, the more it feeds. You feed it, and the blob gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, imagine 3/4 of the world angry, okay, and releasing all that negativity out there. That's one hellacious blob out there of negativity, you know? And it's like, it is just making people miserable, okay? And it's like you want to shoot a nuclear ballistic missile up in, spirit world and try to get rid of it, but you can't. And so how do we deal with it? I have my own ways. I don't go out in the public hardly anymore. I don't really communicate with people anymore. The only time I really literally communicate with people is here on Tuesday nights and also at work. But as communicating with other people, I just can't deal with the negativity that's out there. And it really affects me and it affects people. And I'm sure it affects you too. Um, oh, I forgot at the beginning. I have to tell you that my show Into the Night is on UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 New Orleans and 107.7 Mississippi. And it's a great channel. It's the best. Joe, my producer, is the best. So is Michelle, the station manager, and everybody on this whole channel is great. But back to the negativity, we really need to learn how to like harness it. Okay, we have to harness it somehow. But I don't have an answer for you how to do it. I mean, a lot of stuff is happening in the world right now that has to deal with, you know, the situation in Washington D.C. Okay, all the bad that's been happening, all and you know, I have witnessed, on mine and on TikTok and other things that people are finally putting their foot down and they're starting to see the light. Okay. I'm not going to get into political stuff here tonight. I'll try my damnedest not to because I really had enough of it for the past week, but, I can't tell you where my conversation is going to go tonight. Um, I just hope that whatever we talk about tonight um, will help somebody out, and go from there. And we'll see what happens. But as of right now, with all the crap going on out in the world, forget it. It's just not happening. And to be honest with you, everybody, it's just going to get worse too. It really is. So a bunch of my friends, we sat around, we talked one day on the internet, and we were wondering with all the negative crap going on out there, is it paranormal? Is all this negativity a paranormal, I don't want to say experiment because I don't think it's an experiment, but do you think that, what do you all think? I want to hear what your answers are. Please feel free to put them in the chat. Um, is it paranormal with all the crap going on out there in the world today? Is it bad spirits, attacking everybody? Is it the devil himself, Satan, or his minions? It's hard to say. It's really hard to say, what's out there um, doing this. So we had a big debate about it, and eventually, after the debate came about, was that yes, it is paranormal. There are some really bad negative spirits out there that are wreaking havoc on the world. And you know for a fact that there's a pecking order in the spirit world, the negative spirit world. Um, I guess Lucifer being top dog, and it just works down with all his minions and stuff like that. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Paranormal 101, really. Okay. And there's nothing out there that can actually stop this right now. It's like the evil presence, the evil spirits, the evil entities that are out there right now got a major grasp on us. They got a major, and I'm not just talking about the United States. I'm talking about Russia. I'm talking about China, Israel, New Zealand, Australia. Cindy says, "Oh, hi, Cindy. Let's bring you up here for a minute." Okay. Cindy Mitch says, I'm always happy to stay home in my controlled life. Just negative people or spirit taking control. Yes. And I'm with you on that, Cindy. Right now, I'm with you. Um, I wish, I really wish I could stay at home, but I got to get out there and I got to go to work, and then I got to go do some investigations, and I have places to go that I need to be at. But if you're happy to stay home, my God, stay there, because it's just too negative out there. And thank you for sharing this, Cindy. Appreciate it very, very much. Um, but yeah, but like I said, back to it, like we can't control the shit. The situation. We can't. We cannot control. Not right now. The only way I would think is that, um, you know, to start over again. But I don't see that happening, not for a very long time. And a lot of people are talking the rapture was supposed to come. All hell was going to break loose. And people put shit out there on the internet and they're saying, well, this is going to happen on this certain day, and this is going to happen on that certain day. And this stuff is going to happen on October 4th. So today's what? The 12th, September 12th. Now they're saying out there that something big is going to happen October 4th. So that's what, 3 weeks in advance, they're trying to tell people that this shit's going to happen. And once it does, it just really blows up. You have so much anger, you have so much anxiety that all hell breaks loose inside yourself and around your family homes. The rapture, what was it? 2, 3 months ago, they said that the rapture was supposed to come at a certain day. And people were freaking out. And I'll be honest with you, I was one of them people freaking out. You know what I mean? And I didn't like where I was going with myself during that time. I didn't. I started to get angry. I started to get mad. I started to get depressed. And when I get depressed, I'm out there. Okay. I do have a mental illness. Okay. And I do the best to stay out of all the bad, negative situations. A lot of people tell me straight up, well, stay off the internet. And I really freaking can't stay off the internet because it's part of what I do on Tuesday nights. Okay. To pick stuff up to do a show with, you know. Last night, I was listening to my friend Michael Anthony's podcast, America in Crisis. Okay. And he had a nice show on 9/11. But he was taking a phone call. He takes phone calls on his show. Now, there was a gentleman that called from Georgia who needed help. And you could tell in the tone of his voice, he needed help. And I felt bad for the guy. I really did. I wish I, could have had some words of wisdom or, typed him or find out what was going on and maybe help him out. But he asked us people in Pennsylvania to help him out because they're afraid of the elections coming up. And this is where it has gotten to. It really is all this crap that's going on before 2024. You know, this poor man was hurting and he needed help. He says the state of Georgia needs help. I know it's not a pretty picture going on down there in Georgia right now, due to situations that are totally out of our hands. Okay. But it just felt like I just wanted to go through the computer and give the old boy a hug. You know what I mean? I said, here, dude, I'm here for you. We could try to do the best that we can. And I decided, to bring that out tonight on my show. He needs help. Everybody needs help. Everybody is so scared. Everybody is so damn depressed right now. And it's not just like what I hear on the podcast. I hear it where I work. I hear it all around me. I see my mom. My mom. My mom is really hurting. She takes everything she hears to heart. Okay, and I sit there and I listen to her, and I'm thinking, oh God, Mom, if you only knew what was happening out there. But she had just turned into got into a real bad depression over all the bullshit that's going on out there in the world. And the best I can do this with my mom is to stay there with her and, not hold her hand, but, just show her that I'm there so she can talk about it, so she can, vent about it. And it's sad. It's sad. But that's what we should do for people. That's what we should do for everybody, is just be there for somebody during this bad time. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to get worse. And I think the way, they really started to put all this negativity going on during September being the suicide month. And that's why they caused all this crap going on. Okay, I truly believe that. And if you hear that dog in the back, I don't know if you can hear him or not, but she's next door, and we give her treats. So she's barking for treats. But it's not going to happen right now because I'm on here with you guys. But we need to do something about it. We need to learn not to take heed on what we were told in the media. Okay, do your own research. Whatever you have to do, if you have to put on Johnny Mathis, or if you have to put on, It's a Wonderful, Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong, put that on. Listen to some music. Do something. Very, very rarely do I listen to the news. I can't deal with it. And when I have to listen, ABC, they're atrocious. They are really atrocious. And I see David Muir come on at 6:30 to 7, and that's my mom's favorite guy. And they're telling all about the negativity stuff that's going out there in the world now. It's like 28 minutes of all negativity, all the bad that is happening out in the world. And they say 30 seconds for something nice at the end of the show. There's not a good show out there. Even what Entertainment Tonight and the other one that comes on after. Think about it, right? It's all bad. I mean, people worry about what other people are wearing, dresses and stuff like that. Cindy says, I agree, no news for her. Yes, so true, Cindy. Yeah. I mean, you just can't listen to it because it's going to drive you crazy. So, does anybody hear that noise in the background? That was my brother playing with his phone. But no, with there's from 6:30 to what 8. It's all bad. It's all negative. People, when they hear, okay, so that guy got killed, or this star did this and this star did that, and look what that star is wearing, and it's like they're $800-900 dresses, and people can't just not afford them. But no, they have to shove it down our faces and make us feel bad or insecure about ourselves because we can't get stuff like that. People living on their yachts, living on their boats, stuff like that, and vacationing all the time, and then they're having another affair with another person. It's all ridiculous. And that's big. That's really, really big. That's a lot of things happening out there right now that's making life hell for people, you know? So what do we do? Don't watch the news. You know, entertainment tonight's supposed to be something happy, but yeah, no, not no more. And then with the writer strike going on, there's no TV shows that are happening. It's all these stupid games that they play. And and like, what is it, The Bachelorette? Come on, 30 guys going after this hot woman, you know what I mean? Roses and there's all backstabbing and that stuff. Now, come on. Does misery sell? Let me ask you, everybody out there, does misery sell? Does hurt sell? Is it, is it, I mean, I know TV stations need to get ratings. They really do. But you know what? I, I I can't see myself holding a rose for some woman on TV. No, I can't even see. I love the show Oak Island, but sometimes that drives me up the wall because every week for the last what 10, 13, 12 years, whatever, how long, all they've been doing is finding wood. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong. I mean, I've learned a lot from that show, but I want them to see what they've been going after. I want them to see to go get the gold. I want them to find, the Ark of the Covenant, if it's even there. You know what I mean? I mean, who knows what is down there in that hole? But you know what? What I did learn was that whatever we were taught in school was not right. Was not right. It was. I don't know if you want to call it a lie. I wouldn't call it a lie. Okay. Um, I, I'm just like, so we wasted all this time growing up, going to school, uh, and listening to what we were told was lies. Cindy said something else. Cindy came up and said, it's amazing today we can choose what we want to watch instead of TV, such as podcasts, YouTube, etc. It is amazing. It really is amazing. And to be honest with you, Cindy, I'd rather watch YouTube, you know, and other podcasts. On I I learn a lot more from them. And like on YouTube, they're I mean, sure they do have sponsors and stuff like that, but I mean, you seriously get the truth sometimes. A lot of times you get the truth, you know. And then it's funny because I'm on TikTok. I love TikTok. I enjoy watching them. But there are times when people bring up a certain situation where, well, they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And I'm wondering, oh, that would be so nice. But then again, I'm so used to hearing what I've heard from mainstream that I don't know if it's going to work or not. And and that gets me depressed. And I'm sure it gets you all depressed. But you know what? I can't be like the old time, like my mom growing up, where they didn't have no TV. All they had was a radio and books, and that's all they did was read. You know, I like to go out and even though I did retire from paranormal investigating, and I did retire from it. But every now and then I like to go out and help people out. You know, I went out and Saturday, just to take a glance around this one place, and it felt good to be back into the groove of things. You know, it was just me and the client. It wasn't all all the equipment that you see on TV and stuff like that. It just felt really really nice to do that. Coming up on vacation starting Friday, and you know what, God, I don't know where I'm going to go. Really, I do not know. But from what I understand, the Renaissance Fair is in Pittsburgh they call it Pittsburgh Ren Fair or something. And it's coming up this weekend. And you know what? I'm going to check that out. That's a good question for everybody out there. Has anybody ever been to a Renaissance fair? If you did, please share your, your answers in the chat room. But as I come close to this section, this segment of the show, okay, we really need to just ground ourselves and not be negative and try to avoid the negativity that is out there in the world. Okay? That's the only way that we can deal with it. And if somebody needs some help, fine. Let's help them. Because in return, if you really, really look at it, right, not only are we helping them, but they're helping us too. You know? So God bless everybody, and I pray and I pray for everyone. I want you all to know that I do pray for you. I might not know you, I might not see you. The only time I see you is on my show. But you know what? I need to tell you, you know, and this is for everybody all over who listens to this program, that I do pray for you and I do care about you. I do care. That's one thing I am really, really having a hard time dealing with is not caring anymore, because that's not me. So hopefully we'll see what happens, and I'll give you an update next week. We'll see where I'm at upon that situation. But please be prepared, everybody. Please be prepared that, you know, this shit's going to go deep. It's not going to be happy. Cindy says, I agree 100% of control of negativity, sending prayers to everyone. Thank you, Cindy, very much for those prayers. Thank you very much. Isn't that cool? Thank you. That was awesome. So, I'd like to talk about a little bit about 9/11. Okay. I'm not going to get into no conspiracy theories about anything. I'm sure everybody read, you know, a lot or has seen for the last 20 years on what has happened. And was it 9/11 a while back, 20 some years ago? You know, it was a sad day. And, you know, I still, my friend Michael again had the podcast about it, 9/11 yesterday. And I felt exactly how other people felt. I felt sad. I felt that we got a raw deal, you know, all those people who were just killed for no reason at all. Okay? No reason. It's because someone decided to do that. And there's so many stories out there, so many conspiracies out there about it. But I don't want to get into them, because I tell you what, it can bait you into getting to be depressed and negative again, you know, and we don't want that. But I remember, does everybody remember where they were on the day that happened? I do. I remember. It was a Tuesday, and I was up at a restaurant called Eaton Park up in West Liberty Avenue, and I was having breakfast. And somebody came in, and they said, you know what? There was just on the news that 2 planes just crashed into the World Trade Center. You know, and I was like, nah, that couldn't have happened. No way. No way could that have happened. So I, you know, ate my breakfast and then went home, sat in front of the TV, and there it was. The second plane hit in the World Trade Center. And I was in shock. I was in total shock. I never thought that, for how strong and protected the United States of America was that they allowed this to happen. Okay. The plane that went down in Shanksville. Whenever I go to Gettysburg or whenever I go out east, I always make sure I stop by Shanksville and say a little prayer for the people who died up there. You know, it was like a real big eye opening for the United States. So what did it do? It got us in a war with Iran, Iraq for 20 years. That one day, that one fateful day. And it was for no reason at all. They didn't deserve to die. And so for me, a lot of people say that, when it's your time to go, and it's the new pronoun unalived. Okay, when it's time for you to be unalived, um, God knows it, and it's in your book. So I'm thinking to myself at that time, I'm thinking, okay, did God say, okay, everybody who's supposed to be unalive today are going to get on those planes? And everybody who was supposed to be unalive that day being in the Twin Towers when the buildings came down. He put everybody into one place. I had a problem with that. I really did. And when I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking from my heart, okay? I'm speaking from Shawn Kelly. I'm not taking it from anybody else. If you want to hang around and listen to it, my God, God bless you. If you don't, then I totally understand if you want to leave. But this is how I feel. I felt that it was a complete bad decision upon whoever you believe in. I believe in God. I mean, there's people that believe in Allah, and there's people that believe in the Buddha and whatever. But to allow everybody come together at one time so everybody could die at one time, wrong. It's wrong. And I had a problem with that. I mean, there's a lot of times I had a lot of go and run-ins with the big man upstairs. Yes, I have. Because I could not understand why good people got hurt and got unalived. I could not understand why. And the people who weren't nice, the people who did bad things, who did evil things, didn't die. That bothered me. And then I had an epiphany one time, a while back, way back. And I'm thinking, all right, I heard the saying, hell on earth. And you know what? And this is just me speaking from me. Okay, just me. This is my. We are in hell right now. We are in hell. Look at all the pedophiles out there, all the rapists, all the murders, all the backstabbing, all the thievery, all the lies. Where else is that supposed to happen than hell? And I really believe we're in hell right now. And no matter, and it just seems like the good person, the good lady, the good guy, they get screwed because shit happens to them. And then you ask God, why? Why? Did he allow Satan to come down and take control of the earth, of the world? And again, ladies and gentlemen, it's just not the United States, it's all over the world, everywhere. Russia, China, Africa. Okay? You get it. I mean, there's a young dude down there in Africa It says you want our gold, you want our lithium, you want this, you want that, you want this, you want that. You got to come to Africa and get it. But he's acting really militant about it. I said, I'm thinking to myself, why are you doing it this way? What's it prove to you? Why can't you just say, hey, listen, okay, United States, I can give you some gold, but in return, you know, we would like something like that. And you know what? That would happen. That would happen. But no, everybody has to be militant. Okay, Cindy says something here. Cindy Mate says, yes, I agree with you 100%. This is definitely the hell. Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. And she's right. It is. It is hell here. And then you got other countries, backstabbing other countries, you know, and we're on the tip of so-called World War III, what you hear all over the thing. And it's like, again, in my first segment, when I talked about um, fear mongering, that's what it's called, fear mongering. So what does the mainstream put on? Oh, there's going to be a World War III. It's the way it's looking. And you have 95% of the people out there that are totally scared. You don't need to do that. You don't. You don't need to do that. What would be so cool, what I think would be so cool, if all the main countries got together and sat in a restaurant, had breakfast, drinking coffee, iced tea, whatever they drink, and sit down and just not talk about stuff like this. Not talk about power. And you know what? I thought about it today. I seriously did think about it today that, you know, a lot of Americans don't want a WW3. A lot of China people don't want WW3. Same way with some of the Russians. Same way with all the continents and countries out there. They don't want it. It's all about the government deal. Who has the power? Power don't mean crap, to be honest with you. What's it do? Control? I got all this money and, we're going to do it this way. And if you don't listen to me, we're going to kill you or whatever. Oh, just think, I'm sorry, a little off track here, but I read today that FEMA bought, was it 300 guillotines? This is how bad mainstream media is. And that they're going to put some of these guillotines into these 15-minute cities. I really don't want to go down that rabbit hole tonight because I got a good vibe today with the people in the rooms and people listening to my show. I got a good vibe, but I know there's going to be a time where I'm going to have a show where we're going to deep dive into that. You know, but I want to spread love and I want to spread cheer and I just want everybody to be happy today, just for one day. I always said at the beginning, and if anybody has been following me for the longest time, right? My goal in life, my the biggest dream that I have is that there would be one day where nobody fought, where nobody yelled, nobody did not want to backstab other people, that everybody could come together and love and care for each other. That's my dream. That is my dream. But you know what? If that's not, and I don't see that happening in the future, but you know what? I can actually see it coming into the night with Shawn Kelly and Tara. Tuesday nights, 8 p.m., 10 p.m. on UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi. This could be our 2 hours of happiness. Now, my question to you, everybody out there, do you want to be happy for a couple hours? Do you just want to sit back and say, hey, you know what? Oh, excuse me, that was my stomach. But maybe we can just have 2 hours a week of happiness and, talk about stuff and be happy vibes and stuff like that. That would be great. 2 hours would be great. But we'll see what happens. It's not the end of the world. And I guess you can call me optimistic because I believe that one day down the road it's all going to happen. But, how it's going to happen to make it happen, that's a different story. But all we can do is just live for today. That's it. Until you lay your head down on your pillow tonight. And then your day has ended. And then when you wake up in the morning, your day starts all over again. I can't think about the future because it's not here yet. Thank you, Cindy. She said 2 hours of positivity. Yes. Thank you. I can't dwell on the future because the future is not here yet. And I can't dwell on the past because it's over with. The past is done. It's done. But all I have right now is today, right here and now. And how I choose to go through today is on me. So if you have to go out and buy a book, or if you have to go and take a ride out in the country, or if you need to go down and do some gold prospecting, do it. That's what I'm going to be doing. My days consist of 8 hours, 8 hours of work, but that's okay. While we're on the subject a little bit, my son right now is over in China, and he is there due to his job. The company that he works for where they founded the company was over in China, and my son has to go there for 2 weeks. So if you can, I ask everybody, say a little prayer for him. Keep him safe, please. I say prayers for him all the time. But, I'm glad that he's getting this experience of going overseas because I did it when I was in the service. I was stationed in Scotland and Ireland, Scotland, and I travel around the world twice and been to many different countries. And what he's experienced now is the best experience that anybody could get. But with all that damn negativity out there in the world right now, God only knows what happened. So my mom, his mom, they're on pins and needles. Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate it. Really, truly appreciate it, Cindy. Thank you. But I know, well, from what I understand, it's like 12 hours. There are 12 hours ahead of us. So actually, it's like almost 9 o'clock in the morning their time right now where he's at. So he's probably there at work or something like that. But we need positivity. We need to get it. And we're going to get it here. We're going to get it on, we're going to get it on our show, Into the Night. And, and we're going to get it. We're going to get what I want. I want it. I want it so bad. And I know y'all want it too. So to close up on this, on what we were talking about, on this little segment of the program, 9/11 was bad. A lot of people died. and it wasn't worth none of it to happen. So all we can do is not dwell on it and not worry about it, because again, it's in the past. But, you know, pray, have faith that whoever you believe in, right, whoever you believe in, does it for the right reason, and something positivity can get out of this, you know. I don't know. So anybody out there have any questions they would like to ask? I got two people in the group in the rooms now watching. Anybody, Cindy, do you have a question? Holly, if you're still in, do you have a question that you'd like to talk about? We're getting pretty close to the top of the hour, and we're going to take like a 30-second break whenever we do. Maybe a minute. We'll make it a minute. We'll make it a minute break. But if anybody has anything that's on their mind that they would like to share with everybody else, because you have to realize, everybody, this show here, it goes worldwide. Okay? Worldwide. And I'm talking like, what did Joe say? Over 200 different countries. About 200 countries. Yeah, I think that's what he said. So we got people in Israel, Russia, China, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, watching the show right now. Over in England. You know, what's really cute about the show, especially over in England, you know, I have a little fan club over there. And they like to come on every now and then. And for them to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning just to listen to the show, that's totally awesome. I really appreciate that they do that. Not for me. But so let's get some positivity in the show into the night tonight. And let's send some positive energy out to Tara and my friend Sue and my friend down in Australia, that they have a very beautiful day today and tomorrow. Let's give it to them. Let's send them that vibe, you know, and we'll see what happens. That's all we got, is we'll see what happens. And I'm looking forward to the answers of, or, you know, what am I trying to say here? Excuse me. The results of sending that out there to people. If you can send, I mean, there's a lot of people I know that are going through some financial problems right now, and that they're going through some housing problems right now. And, you know, there's a lot of wolves out there in sheep's clothing promising people. And this is another thing that bothers me really bad. Okay, is when people go out and promise other people that they're going to do things for them. Okay, and they end up turning on them. That's not cool. That's not cool. That's called pure idiot. That's ignorant. That's ignorant. So, and I don't know if any of you out there, you know, believe in karma. Okay, but karma does exist. Okay, and if you're one of those people out there that like to, you know, screw people off or screw them around, and you know, treat them like crap, you have to remember one thing. Eventually, it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you, and you're going to get hit hard too, just like you did for those people. People don't need to be preyed upon, especially during this time. And it irks the shit out of me that people do that. It really does. To prey on people. No, you just don't do that. Not at all. Not in my books, by the way. So, okay, we're coming up. I got 3 minutes, and then it'll be 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. and we're going to go into a minute break, and we'll come back and we'll start the third segment of the show. Tara, I hope you're listening. I hope you're feeling better. So, with these next couple minutes coming up, Cindy, anybody who has an idea or a topic that they would like to talk about for a half hour, please feel free to put a, hey, May, welcome. Welcome. Good to see you. Thank you. Welcome to the show. May, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, or if there's anything on your mind right now that you'd like to talk about and share it with everybody, feel free to. Today is a day of happiness in this room for 2 hours. Oh, you're welcome, hon. You're welcome. Where are you from, May? Cindy, where are you from too? If you can tell us, where you guys are from. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay, I am a meat cutter at a grocery store. I've been cutting meat for about 24 years now. And Ontario. Oh, sweet. Okay. I hear there's a little bit of troubles going up there in Ontario with the Canadian government, but we're not going to get into that because you know what the hell's going on down here in the United States. But there are a couple hosts on the UPRN talk radio show here. Puxatawny. Oh, I like Puxatawny. Have you seen Phil? Cindy, you have to ask. Have you seen Phil? Does he exist? Or do they pamper him for a whole year? That would be crazy. I mean, that's great. The movie was awesome. Groundhog Day. Bill Murray. It was great. But yeah, May, we have on UPR Talk Radio, we have, people that are in, I do believe, Ontario. There's like 4 or 5 different hosts that are from Canada. Again, it's 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi. And all you need to do is go to the uprntalkradio.com, and then you can find fabulous shows on here. Pretty soon, right after my show tonight, my dear friend Trish Moe, she has her show coming on next. I do believe it's called The Missing Piece with Trish Moe. And she always has great guests on. She's very knowledgeable, into spiritual things and stuff like that. And she's a good person. So please, if you can, please stick around and listen to her show after mine. Okay, ladies and gents, it is 9 o'clock. You have seen, Cindy's seen, he has a den at the library. That's funny. Puxatawny Phil, the groundhog. He has a den at the library. I bet they treat that boy like look how fat he is when they show him on TV. He's fat. But that's cool. Maybe one day I'll take a ride up Puxatawny and just check it out. I'm not out in the snow. I'd like to go out when it's warmer. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to take a minute break. And we will be back to start the third segment of the show. Okay? So we're going to do the commercial. Do this one.
Looking for stories that are fresh and new? Dark fantasy, humor, space exploration, time travel, cyberpunk, alternate history, and more. They're in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology. From 24 award-winning authors and illustrators, plus art and writing tips and bonus stories. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Buy your copy at galaxypress.com, Amazon, or wherever books are sold.
And welcome back to the show again. I also want to thank Carnation for sponsoring the second hour of Into the Night with Shawn Kelly. Um, and I also want to thank Joe Montaldo for allowing me to do my show on UPRN Talk Radio. Um, so it's been a blast. I think I'm coming up on 5 years doing this. So hopefully I will continue a little bit about some more. There's a lot more that I've learned. And it's crazy because I could teach you all about the paranormal because I was in it for 30 years, and had the group, Pittsburgh Paranormal Society. But I want to learn. I've learned about aliens. I've learned about Bigfoot. I've learned about, you know, different levels underground with the military and aliens. I've learned about cryptids. I've learned about leprechauns, and I've learned about, fairies and all the little people out there, in Ireland, how they came over to the States. I've learned a lot just by listening to these people, these good people, and these good, the guests that we have had. Um, so what does everybody think that we should, talk about this next half hour segment? Let's talk about some. Oh, would you like to share one of your paranormal experiences? That would be really sweet. I'd like to hear it, and I'm sure everybody else would like to hear it. And while you're, typing in your paranormal experience, I'll tell you, a couple of mine. Um, I want to bring up, there's a place down in Trimley, Ohio. It's called Prospect Place. Okay. Um, and it was an old mansion built in the early 1900s, and it had to do with the Underground Railroad. Okay. Um, and when we went down in 2006, I do believe it was 2006. That's how old I am. it, they were just doing ghost hunts and ghost tours and spent overnighters and stuff down there like that. And they were actually remodeling the mansion like it was back in, when it was first built. But what was cool about it down there is, like I said, it was with the Underground Railroad. And if anybody don't know what the Underground Railroad would have been, is whenever they brought the black slaves from down south up north, you know. And at one point in time, they went through Trimley, Ohio, and to escape. So down there at Prospect Place, there was like two or three major deaths down there, and the one death down there was Constance. Okay, she was a young girl, and for some reason, when I first went down there, um, she kind of like clung on to me, because everywhere I went, she went, and she was a soft-spoken, caring spirit. Okay, there was really no negative spirits down there. Um, except out in the barn, but I'll get to that story soon. But she was a carrying spirit. And whenever we would go down at least once a year for the first 7, 8 years, and it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. It got to the point, just like they knew we were coming, and Constant was like at the door waiting for me. You know, see, for me, whenever I went to a certain place, to a different, like, Prospect Place, or if I went to Gettysburg, or if I went to Nemacolin Castle down in Nemacolin, PA, there were certain spirits that would, like, touch me or be close to different parts of the body of mine. Like, some would be on my head, some would be on my right shoulder, some would be on my left shoulder. And so whenever I would walk into the places that we were investigating that I've been there before, then I kind of know who was hanging out. And please excuse my stomach. I'm sorry that happened to you. But But Constance, all the time when I was down there, she would just hang around with me, you know. Um, Whenever I would be sitting down in the cellar, you know, trying to talk to the slaves that were, you know, crossing, it's pretty cool. You have to have the experience yourself by sitting in the cellar, and just see all these shadow figures keep moving and moving and moving and moving and moving. Um, and she would just sit there wherever I went. She went with me. Okay, and it felt like some kind of protection. Or she was just, you know, happy to see me. I don't know how you want to call it, or however we, you know, whatever's going to happen, you know, whatever it was, you know, but she was always there, you know. And I remember one time I was really hurt and I was having a bad day. I was laying in my bed and I said, Constance, if you're for real, could you please come up and just sit with me? And would you know it? She came up and sat with me. And I live in Pittsburgh, and this is Trimway. It's about a 3 hour ride, I think. And so that was my experience down in Prospect Place. Now, a lot of people have gone down with us, and a lot of other people have had real um, ghostly experiences too. But there was this one girl that was in the group for some reason. She wanted to be attacked. She she wanted to be attacked by a ghost, and I said, you know, you can do whatever you want to do, but you know, do not come back and blame me for what happened. So she went into the barn, and the story behind the barn is that there was a guy that went out and he would go collect slaves and bring them back down south. Well, what happened was they caught him in the barn and they hung him. And whenever you go out into the barn, right, you just get this really, really evil, heavy presence there. Okay, and we know it was the cowboy that we call him the cowboy down there who got hung. And so this one girl, she went in one night and she was instigating it. Oh my God, was she instigating this ghost? And you know what? She had some major ass scratch marks going down her back. You know, and she was all happy about it because she got scratched by a ghost. I mean, you know, there's a lot of different people that go out paranormal investigating, and don't get me wrong, I liked the girl. I mean, she was a good friend, but I would just shake my head every time she would go out and do something stupid like that. You know, never, ever, ever, if you're on an investigation, instigate a ghost, because either A, you're going to get hurt, or B, they're just not going to be around you. Um, so if you go and investigate, you know, if you, and here's my number one rule that I use, and I got so much good stuff going on out of it that if you respect the spirits like you want to be respected, okay, in return they're going to respect the same for you too. Because you have to remember one thing, that at one point in time in their lives, they were human at one time. Hey, Michael, welcome, buddy. Caught a little bit of your show earlier tonight, and man, that dude's pretty cool. Welcome. Thank you for stopping in tonight. But everybody, this is Michael Anthony. He's a very dear friend of mine. Got a hell of a podcast. If you want to type it in, dude, you know, please feel free to type it in. Very knowledgeable man, very knowledgeable. I learned a lot from that gentleman right there. He's a good dude. But yeah, you know, if you go into an investigation and you just start um, just treating with respect, in return, they're going to respect you. And you're not going to be, um, you know, hurt, tormented, whatever. You know what I mean? So disrespect the spirits. But if anybody wants to go and investigate a very, very decent place, it is called Prospect Place, and it's in Trimway, Ohio. And I do believe that they are open all year round. They do have some overnight um, ghost hunts that they do down there. You can schedule a ghost hunt to do it. Um, they also have tours that they do during the day. And the town of Tremlay is very small, and they got it's all cute little houses down there. It's like it's actually like if you go through the town, it's like small town America. All the houses, they're old, but they're good. They're cool and they're pretty, and you get a decent feeling about it. So what you need to do is go on Google and Google Prospect Place, Trimway, Ohio, and you will get all their information that you need to do. Another experience I had, um, we were doing a private residence at one time. We were doing an investigation at a private residence. And this was down in Elizabeth, PA. Actual time is called Elkhorn, PA, but that's down there on 837, down there in Elizabeth. And I remember the first time that we went down there, um, we sat in the living room and they had like a ceiling fan going with a long, long chain coming down. And all of a sudden, okay, it was really crazy, right? All of a sudden, the chain started to go and turn by itself like this. And we're like, what the hell's going on here? These things moving. There's no air coming in, nowhere. All the windows are shut because it was cold. There was no drafts coming in, nothing like that. And the thing started spinning. So I'm like, Sue, what's up with that? And she said, oh, that's the captain down there. He's trying to communicate with you guys. And I was like, the captain? And she explained to me that the house that she lived in down there um, was owned by a riverboat captain. Um, Down here in Pittsburgh, we got the towboats that go up and down the rivers and collect the barges and stuff like that. But so back in, let me say, the early 1800s, this was how old that house is. He owned that house. And when he died, he just hung around, you know. It wasn't so much the captain, but there was also three women down there too. Three women ghosts down there too that used to hang. Um, I'm sorry, I got distracted here, and I got distracted again. Sorry. But there's three ghosts down there, three lady ghosts that used to hang up on the second floor and walk around. You could actually see their faces, in the mirrors. But just to sit in that, because when we started, I mean, we really didn't know what the hell we were doing when we went on investigations, especially at private houses, because back in 2006, you know, it just really seriously just started to um, get good. Okay, May, May Gone, is that how you pronounce it? But she just wrote something wrong, which is cool. Okay, May says, I played with a Ouija board, didn't really believe in it. However, to make a long story short, an entity attached itself to me. Strange things started to happen. My dogs and cats would growl and hiss at me. My ex mother in law told me there was an evil entity. Ganya. Okay. Ganya. Okay. Thank you. Um, there was an evil entity in the house. The niece told me that they played at school and asked where the devil lived, spelled my name. I was petrified. This went on for a couple of weeks. A medium told me I had to burn the board. I did that when all hell broke loose. I pray. Well, May, and I understand what that. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. Thank you for sharing that story. But what I need to tell people out there, you know, If you come across a Ouija board, or if you come across a tarot deck that you think that is like causing problems in the house and stuff like that, what you need to do is you don't throw it away and you don't burn the board. Okay. Because what happens, sure, you burn the board, but the spirit that was attached to the Ouija board, okay, is still out there. It's still there. You burned the board, but not the spirit, you know? And if you throw it out in the trash, right, wherever that board goes, it's going to go to another person, and that spirit's going to tag along with it. So someone told me a long, long, long time ago, I mean, this was back in 2008, 2009. If there's something that you don't like, we'll just say the Ouija board, for instance, okay? Say like the Ouija board cause a lot of crap. What you need to do is find woods, and in the woods, you try to find the oldest tree out there in the woods. And what you do is that you get a box, and you put sea salt on the bottom of the box. You lay the board on it in the box, and you throw sea salt on the board, and you cover it up and tie it up, and you take that box with you, and you go dig that hole right by the oldest tree there is, oldest, strongest tree. And what you do is that you bury the box right next to that old tree. And as you bury the box, and before you put the dirt back onto the box, you throw some more sea salt on top of that box. Okay? And then you put it on the dirt. And the spirit is held in that box by that old tree, and the power of Mother Earth is actually keeping that spirit in check right there. It's like if you watch Supernatural and you see people put a salt ring around to protect themselves from the spirits. Okay, it's basically like the same thing. So the spirit that was attached to that Ouija board is no longer around anybody. It cannot hurt anybody. It cannot hurt you. Okay. It's in the ground, being protected. Hey, Sam, welcome, buddy. Sam says, okay, Sam Townsend says, how could someone hone in a possible paranormal skill? I, for some reason, get a sudden urge, almost being pulled to an area where something bad happened or is about to happen. If I had listened to this, I could have saved my wife's uncle from suicide. Still to this day, I can explain it. Wow. When you mean by honing, first of all, Sam, my apologies to your wife's uncle. Okay, my condolences to him and to your family and her family. But when you say that you were pulled to certain places or certain areas, more than likely, sir, you know, you're empathic. Okay, you have a little bit more learn to utilize it. In other words, oh, okay, yeah. But the reason why that you are being pulled to it is because you're very empathic and you're just attracted to things like that, and people, places, and things, and stuff like in different places. Because I'm the same way too. Um, but if I can give you, if you want to learn how to utilize it, or you want to learn a little bit more, wherever you live, try to find somebody there that can teach you how to help you, to utilize it, to understand it, to to help you in the future. Um, there's a lot of mystic places down there. Um, you could probably go to a psychic person, or you can go to a mystic, something down there, and just ask for help, and the ladies or the men will help you. But as of now, and from what I can tell you right now, is that you're very empathic, okay, and you're drawn to the energy of negative things. And all you could do is just ask God for help, or whoever you believe in, Sam. Ask them to help you, protect you, to deal with it until you get to find a person that can help you. That's the best way. It's the best thing I can tell you right now. Excuse me while I take a little drink here. Thank you. But back to the Ouija board. You know, I'll give you a little story behind that. There was a lady in my group, and she had one of them real old Ouija boards, and it was creepy looking. I mean, this sucker was old, right? And she had the box for it, and she said, "I want to get rid of this." And she says, "I want to burn it." And I said, "Don't you dare burn it." And what I told you guys about the box and the salt, okay? She did that because she had a real old tree underneath in her backyard. It was huge. I think it was an oak. I'm not sure, but it was huge. And so she did the boxing with the salt and put the box into the hole and threw the salt on top of it in the dirt and buried it. Well, a couple months went by, and it started to get really, really cold. And so what happened was, it was like around October that this happened. This is a true story. This is such a true story. Um, we went over our house for a little party, and the leaves started to fall and stuff like that, and nothing really biggie. So my brother went out in the backyard, and he kicked all these leaves all over this place where she buried the Ouija board. So the next morning I get up, okay, I got a photo from my friend that we were at her house. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I got the picture, and there was not one leaf on that area where she buried the board. Not one leaf. But the leaves are all around the area, but not on where that board was. That was creepy. That was creepy. And then a couple more months after that, we had not a real big snow, but we had about an inch of snow. So I got another photo the next day after it was snowing, and true story, there was no snow on that place where that board was buried. That is an honest to God's true story. I was like, wow, that's insane. That's really crazy. So it does work. So in the future, okay, if you have a Ouija board, if you have something that you think is negative, instead of throwing it away, instead of burning it, okay, just bury it in the ground with sea salt next to a tree, and you'll be okay after that, because that spirit or that entity that is attached to that um, is is wherever that box is at that you have it buried at. Um, I hope I had a little bit of answers for you guys out there during this little segment here. Um, I know that, and I think I heard, and in fact I know that I heard it earlier before my show came on about how people think using dowsing rods and using pendulums and tarot cards and stuff like that. All of that opens up the gateway from our world to spirit world. Okay. I play with animal medicine cards. I do readings with animal medicine cards. Okay. And what I'm actually doing is that I'm opening up something. I'm opening up a hole. But if you're trained or you know what you're doing with the Ouija board and you're doing with the cards, you're okay. But if you just grab them off the thing and off the rack or the bookstore, wherever you get them from, and you start playing with them, you can get burned. You can get burned really bad. And that's not good. That's not good. So in the future, if you want to get into this, the tarot readings, the mystical things, reading tarot, doing the Ouija board. I personally, I don't like the Ouija board. I'm one of them. I don't like it. And that's my own preference. But if you want to do the tarot or you want to do pendulum, find somebody that would be willing to teach you how to do it and do it right. And not be thrown, getting somebody that just says, well, here's what you do. You throw out these cards and you read the directions or the definitions of the cards that are on there. To explain to people what the reading is. I think I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a 3-card reading from my animal medicine cards, my medicine card, and do a little 3 reading towards the end of the show. Because I enjoy doing that, But the thing for the 3rd segment of the show, just be careful what you do if you play with the tarot and when you play with the Ouija board and if you play with the pendulums or anything that can open up to another realm. Okay. So right now we are on the last segment of the show, the last 20 minutes or so. I just have to say that, it was a great show tonight. There's a lot of good people in that came visit. There's some new people that visited the place. Got good stories from May, and Sam explained what was going on. It was really great to see Holly. So, and there are a couple missing today, but I bet they're kind of busy over in England. You got to excuse my stomach because it hasn't been up to par lately on that. But well, this is the last segment of the show, okay? And this is where I go and I start venting how I feel of what's happening out in. Okay, hold on. Sam said something. Where are we at, Sam? Sam says, how could you see if a spirit is attached to you, even if they lay dormant? I seem to get random attacks in their way, and they're a way to tell. Okay. Like you just said it. Whenever a spirit is attached to you, and you start getting attacks, definitely that it's coming from the spirit that's with you. But again, Sam, try to find somebody that can do and look at the spirit itself to see what's actually attached to you. You just really can't do it yourself. And I've been in the business for over 30 years now, honestly. And, there's been a lot of spirits that have been attached to me that I didn't even realize were attached. I know that my life wasn't going good. There was a lot of negativity happening in my life. And so I had to go and find someone to figure out and tell me, like, what the hell's going on? Why am I getting all this? So find somebody to help you, buddy. But in the meantime, okay, if you believe in angels, ask the angels for help. You know what I mean? Because they will do. I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer in angels. My spirit guy, Cindy says, "Well, looking forward to seeing you do the animal card reading." Oh, I'm glad to see that you'll be hanging around too. It's real simple. It's a 3 card spread, but the past, the now, and the future. It's pretty interesting. Uh, Sam says, I have woken up and felt like I was held down and screamed, but no sounds came out. Everything was dead silent. Okay, sir, I have the answer for you right now. If you go into the study, in the scientific study of that, it is called sleep paralysis. Okay, it's called sleep paralysis. Um, but if you're into the spiritual world of things, it's called the old hag theory. Look them up. Um, I've had that experience many times where I'll be laying in bed and I see this ugly looking old hag sitting on my chest. I can't move, I can't scream, I can't do a damn thing. But that is what you are experiencing right there. Again, if you want to go the scientific way, it's called sleep paralysis. Or if you want to go the spiritual way, it's called the old hag theory. That's what it is. But getting back to the angels, okay, a lot of people believe in angels. I sure do. Um, Whenever I'd go on an investigation and I would have to clear a house out or, send a spirit to the light or whatever, I always worked with angels, and wolves, and spirit animals. But my angel is Archangel Ariel, Ariel. He is my archangel. He is my number one angel that hangs around me wherever I go, whatever I do, and goes hunting. Not even in paranormal stuff. He's just like my guardian angel. He's big, he's bad, and he kicks butt. And if I am straying off to the wayside, he's there to put me right back there on my path. Um, Angels are great. You know, um, a lot of people think uh, that demons are the fallen angels that came out of heaven. That's for another story, for another topic. I'm not even going to get into that. But I know that the angels that I deal with, that I work with, that have been around me, are loving and caring. And I feel safe. I mean, there are times and situations where I was in a vehicle, I was in a vehicle accident. And for some reason, okay, it was like a bunch of feathers. Honestly, God, it felt like there was a bunch of feathers that just covered my whole body. My car got totaled, but there was not one scratch on me. Even the paramedic said to me, he said, "You're lucky. You must have had an angel helping you out that day during that accident." And I believe that, you know. There are angels on earth right now that are human. There are human angels out there. And if you are seriously looking for an angel, don't look for it. They'll come to you. Truth. It's the truth. I got a little story to tell you about that. I remember a while back, like 10 years ago, again up at Deaton Park on West Liberty Avenue. That's where I hung up. So I went out and had a cigarette, and I saw this guy. He was dressed. He was dressed like he was homeless. Okay. And so I went out and I had a cigarette because you couldn't smoke in the restaurant no more. And what happened was I went out and had a cigarette, and this guy followed me out. And he looked at me and he said, "Do you mind if I bum the cigarette off?" I gave him a cigarette. In fact, I gave him 2 cigarettes. He smoked one with me. And then he turned around, he looked at me and he said, "Listen, I have a big favor. I've been eating all day. Do you have $5 to spare so I can get a cup of coffee and a piece of pie?" And I said, "Hell, here's 10. Go and buy yourself a dinner." No, in fact, I gave him a 20. I said, "Go buy yourself a dinner, cup of coffee, so you get your belly full." And he just smiled and he said, "Thank you and thank you and thank you." I didn't mean nothing of it. I just thought maybe the guy was down on his luck and stuff like that. So I helped him out. And I usually do that. And I'll tell you the reason why I do that. because after that night that guy came up and asked for money for food, for his stomach so he could eat, I had the best year of my life. Everything fell where it was supposed to be. Something good always happened every week or every month, whatever it was. It was all good, nothing bad. And I used to loaf and hang out at that Eaton Park up there all the time, and I never ever ever saw this guy ever. That night was the first night that I ever seen him, and to this day, I have never seen him up there again. So to me, in my eyes, that boy was definitely an angel. There is no doubt in my mind. He was an angel. And you know what? I probably needed that at the time. You know, maybe I needed that. And another angel story I'd like to tell you. Back in 1999, when I first got sober, my sobriety date is 1/21/91, and my son was born. He was like 6 months old, 7 months old. I don't know. And I remember, my ex didn't pay the mortgage, so I got a call from the lawyer saying they were going to foreclose on the house. And I was off that day. It was crazy because I had my son. I couldn't get to an AA meeting. I tried calling my sponsor, couldn't get a hold of him. Tried to call a bunch of people in AA, just to let me talk, and I couldn't get anybody. And I'm like really frustrated. And I was really frustrated back then, when I first got sober. And so I put my son to bed. He was going to take his nap, and I decided, I think I'll lay down with him, because after I laid him down, I went on the phone trying to call people, and it was crazy. I could not get a hold of anybody. Could not get a. It was I was going insane because I was almost going into a relapse. Or I had nothing. I thank God I had no beer in the house. I will tell you that. Okay, so I went in and I laid down next to him, and all of a sudden he woke up. And this story is so true. Honest to God, it's so true. He woke up and he said to me, "Dad, let me hold your hand. I will babysit you." My son. And I knew right then and then that my angel was working. And he worked through my son. And then my son said to me, he said, "Let me give you a hug, Dad. Looks like you need a hug." And he gave me a hug. And again, that was my angel. So if people try to tell me that angels do not exist on earth, I will look at them right in the face and I will tell them, "You're full of shit." Because I have had many, many experiences with people I don't know. But the big thing was when my son did that, held my hand and said, "I will babysit you." I knew who that was. That was my angel. So those are my angel stories. Does anyone else believe in angels out there? I mean, I can go on forever with angel stories. They do exist. And one day I'll have a show on angels and demons. Don't get me wrong, there are demons out there. I will tell you that. Absolutely. But one day I'll have a show on them. And I'm just going to have to find, good people to get on here and we'll talk about it. Maybe we'll have a round table of people talking about angels and demons. I think everybody would enjoy that. I have to go out and search for it, though. And that's no problem. Whenever I have something set in my mind to do something, I go out and I do it, no matter how hard it is and how lazy I get. but eventually I do. Okay, so it is 9:42 p.m., getting pretty close to the witching hour. So with Cindy Mitch hanging around to do the reading. Oh, Sam has something else to say, buddy. Sam says, still to this day, I'll never understand what my pastor meant, but I was showing off downstairs at the church on a pogo stick. And the pastor who was stealing from the church turned to me and said, I know what you're doing. And the next day they caught him stealing money. Ugh. Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that. That, wow. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't understand that either. But that's crazy. It sounded to me that the pastor was evil and you were the good person. You know what I mean? And that pastor, whoever was attached to that pastor, kind of figured, hey, you know what? This guy knows what's going on with me. So I don't know. But thank you for sharing that, Sam. Thank you very much again. Hey, Sebastian, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Thank Sebastian says, great story, Shawn. God bless you and your son. Thank you, Sebastian, and God bless your family too, my friend. God bless you too. Thank you. I'm glad that I saw you guys in there. There's a couple people I haven't seen for a long time coming tonight, and it's really, I don't know, it just has a big smile on my heart. But back to what I was going to do for the last couple minutes of the show. Okay. Um, Cindy, I told everybody that I was going to do a little 3 card spread with my animal dog and medicine cards. Okay. And the 3 cards are going to be the first one I pull will be of your past. The middle second one will be what's going on in your life right now. And the third one will be your future. Okay. So these are animal medicine cards. So I guess you can consider them a tarot deck, but to me, they're not. Animals are more important. There is some negativity to the animal cards, but not as bad. Plus, it also relaxes people too. Whenever I go work at, whenever I do a psychic fair or something like that, I'll read the animal cards because a lot of people feel a lot more comfortable instead of, the Sun Tarot deck, Sun card, the Death card, the Fallen Towers, the Leaning Towers, whatever it's called. They feel safer than with the animals. All right, so I'm showing that shuffling these, and I'm going to cut them. I'm going to cut the cards, as you can tell, right? Cut them once and twice, and there we go. All right. So, may I suggest to everybody to write these down, write these animals down, and then after the show, just go and Google animal totems and look up the animals that I give you. Okay. Um, and hopefully, um, the spread that I pull off the deck is something going on in your life today. Um, and hopefully, there's a little message with it. So please get your pen and piece of papers out. Okay. And then write them down and then do your homework. Go and look them up. Always put animal totem, whatever animal, and or spiritual meaning of the animal. Okay, so the first one I draw. Ready, guys? Drum roll. First one. Ooh. Write this down, everybody. The badger. I hope you can see that pretty good. Oh, the badger. Okay. That is your pass card. I'll type that one in. I'm going to type these in. There you go. The second card is the hummingbird. Ooh, can you see it? There we go. It's the hummingbird. This is the card. Okay, Cindy. Okay, the first card's the badger. That's your past. The middle card is the hummingbird. And the hummingbird is the card that's going on in your life today. And the future card, animal that I'm pulling right now, is what's hopefully happen down in the future for you. Ooh, the coyote. Okay. Okay, the second card, let me type that in. Second card, hummingbird. And third card, coyote. Okay. So Cindy, those are the three cards that I drew. And for everybody else, after listening, this was a little three-card draw, three-card reading. The first card I drew was the badger. Okay. And that was the stuff that you were going with in, the troubles you were going, or whatever was happening in your past. Okay. The second one, the one that's dealing with your life right now, is the hummingbird. Okay. And that's what's going on in the now. And the future one is the coyote. Okay. So write those three down, and after the show tonight, um, or after when you listen to Trish Moe's The Missing Piece, okay, just look those up and just write down what they all mean and try to get a reading out of that, like what's happening in your past, now, and future, and hopefully it might show you something. But it is close to the witching hour. I hope everyone, it was a great show tonight. I really enjoyed myself. I really enjoyed the people who came in. Um, I hope Tara's feeling better. And please don't forget about that disease, CRPS. Um, you're in constant pain, constant pain. Please pray for the people out there who need it. Okay. I'm on here every Tuesday night, 8 to 10, into the night with Shawn Kelly and Tara. We're on 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi, UPRN Talk Radio. I just want to say good night, everybody. Okay. Children, if you can, please, please go to your parents and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And if you have no parents, thank you, Cindy. Thank you very much. And if you don't have no parents or you have no children, find a friend so that you can actually, give them a hug and tell them that you love them. Because those three words, I love you, go a long, long way. Good night, everybody. See you next Tuesday. Happy hunting. Good night. Let's find the outro. There we go.